everything works properly. And we shall see here in a second. If it is indeed, it is streaming. There we are. Perfect. Meta Church is now streaming live as well on YouTube. Awesome. Will you pull it up on your phone, see if you can hear it? Just go to Facebook. Yep, click on that. Is there audio? There is.
And there's audio.
Will you pull it up on your phone? Awesome.
I'll turn it off.
Will you pull it up on your phone, see if you can hear it? Let me go back out of this. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us and watching. We'll get started in just a few seconds. Make sure all of this is streaming properly and going good. So glad that you are here watching and hanging out. What's up, Carrie Ann? Thanks for tuning in from Georgia and hanging out. So glad that you guys are watching. We wanted to take a second tonight to speak a little bit about Meta Church, what's going to be happening over the next weeks, several weeks and months. What's up, Amy? And
Amy.
Share a little bit more about Meta Church stuff and what to expect in the coming weeks. So it should be a fun time and a good time, and something that we're excited. You know, obviously things look different, but we're excited about where it's going to be headed and what's going to be coming in the future. So before we begin with anything like specific to Meta Church, one, just want to say hope you're doing well and hope that you're feeling good. Obviously, taking care of yourself and the precautions for your safety as well as the safety of other people in your community and that you're connected to. And so we are in New York doing good. Life here in the apartment is pretty good given that we have 800 square feet and 4 living beings, 3 humans and a dog.
Yeah.
And so
me and Gia tried to wash the dog today and give her a bath, and Ricky was trying to work, and the dog jumps out of the bathtub, water everywhere, we're screaming, and he's trying to focus. And we're only on day 3, people.
They thought it would be good to fill the bathtub with water and stick the dog in it versus just giving her a normal bath. So, appreciate that, but life is going good. things are well. So, but yeah, we want to get started, and I'll let my wife kind of share this part because I think one of the things that, as we go into this next phase of ministry for our church, not just our church, but a lot of churches all over, the country and around the world are transitioning and changing and shifting. And so it's easy for this to feel like, oh gosh, everyone's scrambling to do something. But the truth is this is not a surprise, and it didn't catch God off guard. And so Krista had something that she wanted to share as we got started.
Yeah, so there's a scripture, and it says, it's in John 5, and it says, so the Jewish leaders began harassing Jesus for breaking the Sabbath rules. But Jesus replied, my Father is always working, and so am I. And this scripture, I think, is so powerful because it's the idea that even though things are not going as planned, that God is still working, that this is not a surprise to God. It is a surprise to us. I think so many pastors all over the world right now are like, this is not what we envisioned.
Right.
But this is not a surprise to God. He is always working. Even in this, he has dreams and goals for our community and our churches, even in this. And so it's the understanding that we're not on his plan B.
Right.
I think we realized that even in the beginning of the year as a church. When Ricky's father passed away, we had that moment as a leadership team of kind of like, what are we going to do this Sunday? And then we had to stop and pause and calm ourselves and say, wait a second, God knew this was going to happen. He has a plan for this Sunday. He already has the plan in place. And it's not a backup plan. It's an incredible plan. And we had to kind of pause in that moment and realize that. I think the same is true of this. And so we're excited to see what God has up his sleeve for our community in this season. And we're excited.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the things that, just to reiterate, that God is always at work, and he's always working to take what's new or different or changing and actually, bring a redemptive and a restorative quality to it. And so we're excited about that for us. And so we have a list of things that we just wanted to be able to cover and to be able to share with you guys as far as MetaChurch and what to expect in the coming weeks. And we'll start first and foremost with our Sunday stuff. And just to let you know, obviously our Sundays are changing, but what's really exciting about this is that we get to do things a little bit differently. And so we're going to do this. We're going to stream live on Facebook and on YouTube, and use this as an opportunity to share a message and an encouraging word starting this Sunday, to get the message out and to be able to invest in our people and build our people up through, scripture, through encouragement, just like we would if we were in person. And so Sunday at 11 a.m., you'll be able to log on to Facebook or watch on YouTube or whatever, and you'll receive or we'll share a message of hope, a message of encouragement to speak to all of these things. And I think what's kind of funny is we had a series or a plan to teach a series titled "Let's Get Social," and obviously that's like the opposite, of this time and of this season, and what would seem like appropriate. And so we're changing that and switching over to this question of, now what? Now what? Like, what do we do? And I think one of the things that, we're all asking is now what? How do we parent in this situation? If you've got kids, how do you, do what you're supposed to do as a mom, as a dad, with your kids at home? How do you work if you can no longer work in your office or your environment or at your club or at your location? And so you've got to change and pivot there. Now what? Like when it comes to relationships, how do we stay connected and how do we stay involved and with the people that we care about and the people that play such a significant part of our lives? And so this Sunday we start, what really is kind of like a new mini series called Now What? And for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be speaking on basically just one word each Sunday. And those 3 words are simply this for the next 3 weeks. This week, we're going to talk about change. Next week, I'm going to talk about peace. And then, 3 weeks, I'm going to talk about the word hope, which will be Palm Sunday. And, change is something that, is inevitable. The truth is we all have to go through change, but we just don't always go through it very well. Like, a lot of times we love the comfort and the convenience of things staying the same. And so when something like this all of a sudden changes, not just one thing, but everything, it's really hard to kind of, wrap our minds and our lives around that. And so how do we acclimate ourselves and how do we adjust to change? Of course, if you can navigate change well, then you can find peace in your life. And, a lot of times peace is a byproduct of dealing with change in a beneficial way or dealing with change in a productive way. And then if you find if you experience peace, then you can have hope because you know that what you're going through now, as unstable as it may seem, is going to pass, is not going to remain permanent. It's not going to be stuck like this for forever. So over the next 3 weeks, that's what we're going to be talking about. That's what we're going to be speaking on right here on Facebook and on YouTube. And I would love for you to be a part of it. I would love for you to join, to comment, to engage. It's going to be kind of fun to preach live and be able to see people's comments and be able to speak to it as I'm talking. Because in church, that would kind of feel weird or whatever, like in a church service. But online, it's totally appropriate. So I can actually reply back and comment. And so that'll be kind of fun to do it that way. But one of the other things that, we want to do, obviously, we want to be able to just, not just provide like a message, but we want to share weekly praise reports. And so at the start of our broadcast every week, we're going to share different highlights, answered prayers, things we're celebrating as a church community, things that we're receiving, that lead us to worship. We're not going to stream any sort of music or anything like that. But our worship is going to be built off of the praises that we're celebrating collectively as a community and as a family and as a church. And so if you have praises, if you have celebrations, if you have things you want us to acknowledge, feel free to message us on Facebook, myself, Krista. You can email us and we'll make sure we share those things publicly. So that's what we're doing for our Sunday portion, but then there's also a significant portion that we want to do for kids and make that significant as well. Yeah,
so part of the thing that we were trying to think of is how we can still build into our children the faith that we've already, what's been really amazing, and I speak on behalf of all the MetaKids teachers, we've been able to see these kids have a real relationship with Jesus and real community. Now it's about maintaining that community and even fostering a further relationship with Jesus. We're going to do a series about fear. A lot of this, what they're going through right now, is fear. So we're going to kind of address that head on. But we're obviously going to have to do that a little different. We won't be able to meet up the way we usually do. And so we kind of came up with an idea of, you're going to get an email, families, with a video, and it'll be like a video about their little fear stuff. Then you'll get another video that you can play for them that will be an actual personal application from one of their teachers in MetaKids. And it'll be just kind of like a personal, like, these are the kids we've been caring for, these children. And it'll be kind of a video to say, hey, we're with you in this. This is what I'm afraid of. What are you afraid of? And kind of like spur them on in conversation with you guys as the parents. And then we're also going to provide each week questions for you to talk to your children through the Bible story that they heard, and also engaging, like I said, in that application of what they're feeling, what they're going through. And I just feel like in this, families can come together
for sure
so much stronger than they were before even. And we're looking forward to that with our daughter as well. So that's one thing we're doing each Sunday. You'll receive an email from me every Friday with all of that information and just instructions on how to kind of be a MetaKids teacher every Sunday. And so we'll do that. We will also do a little kids hangout time. We tried it this last week with a few kids. They miss each other. They are actual friends in MetaKids, and we always celebrate the fact that every single week they're always telling us how grateful they are for each other. We're going to create a space where they can kind of FaceTime together and just talk and have fun. Maybe, a teacher can ask them some questions, how they're doing, but sometimes it might just be they can be silly and be kids, but they can kind of connect and socialize. And that will be more like throughout the week. Again, you'll get an email from me kind of setting that up, and any kids that are available to jump on, they can. It'll just be a fun time for them to connect and kind of maintain that community they have. And then the last thing we have planned, we have like a little surprise coming in the mail for every family at MetaKids. And it is something that Ricky and I kind of put together to, again, kind of support families coming together in this time. There's something more spiritual applicable, but then there's also something like logistically, we're just trying to figure out what to do with our children during this time. So there's some fun stuff in there as well.
When your kid is running around dancing and singing songs and then asking you to sing along with them when you're trying to like type up an email for work, it's not always the best. So if you could just like hand them off something or have something like, hey, why don't we focus our attention here? It makes things a lot better.
Yes. So it's just a little surprise coming in the mail during this, kind of uncertain, even dark kind of feeling time. We just wanted to bring a little package, a care package, if you will, to kind of brighten your spirits and let each family at MetaKids know that we care about you guys so much and we're with you guys.
For sure. And, one of the things in this, like Krista mentioned to the kids, is like, they miss each other, they care, and being able to provide, that type of connection. I think one of the things that's true across the board, and community is such a vital part of our church. In fact, it's not just a vital part of our church. We always talk about like how it's such a strength in our church, and that our community is like one of our greatest assets and our greatest strengths, because the people in our church at Meta are just so great at connecting, loving each other, welcoming people in. And we don't want to miss that. We don't want to lose that during this time. And so we're honoring and respecting, of course, social distancing. We don't have any sort of like in-person meetings, which is totally appropriate. But as far as our groups go, we're still going to be doing groups, over the course of this time, all in a digital or online format, using Google Hangouts. And it's a super easy, super simple way to connect with people at MetaChurch, to connect with your group, to check in, hang out. We'll have kind of a groups template or a group structure, but basically 1 hour a week for the first few weeks to be able to connect, to stay in touch, to check in, of course, to see what's going on, catch up on, what everyone's doing, which most of the conversations are probably going to be like, I didn't do anything, stayed at home all day, went out for a run. But the fact that you get to talk about that together and kind of in a way commiserate is a good thing. But there's obviously a faith component in that as well. And we'll be providing some questions, to discuss about, what you're learning about Jesus, what you're learning about faith during this time. And I guess that's one of the beauties of this situation, is that we really have more time to be able to invest in our relationship with Jesus, because we have this extra time. And so I'm really excited for myself. I'm excited for our family, but excited for our church to see and to hear what God is doing through this and how God is speaking to people in this.
Yeah, community has been one of the most important things to us at Meta, and we're just getting started. Like this season, we're going to need each other, and so we're trying to create platforms where we can still have that.
Right.
Because we need to know that we're not alone in this. All of us do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you realize, like after like 4 or 5 days of this, it gets kind of boring. I mean, the social distancing, being stuck in your home or whatever. And so actually being able to connect with people, it's going to be so refreshing. It's going to be so encouraging and invigorating. So we're super stoked about that. So we'll communicate details about that. But starting next week, our groups will meet March 22nd, the week of March 29th. Then again in April. And so we'll send out those details and get everyone that information as well.
Eric is excited about it.
Yeah, there you go. So got Eric and Maggie giving shout outs to groups. So I appreciate that. One of the other things we wanted to do to help, again, just build connection and strengthen our community during this time is, like I said a moment ago, we have more time to invest in, some spiritual disciplines. So we want to do that through prayer. And we want to start really a daily prayer chain for Meta Church and for people to be able to pray over the needs of our church, of our people, of our community. And so we're super excited about this, and we're really looking forward to being able to pray on a daily basis. And so here's kind of what we need from you, is that if you want to be a part of this, just send an email to prayer@metachurch.cc. And again, I'm talking about people who are part of Meta Church. If you're on the outside, maybe we'll invite you to be a part of this too. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have more people praying. But send an email to prayer@metachurch.cc. And that way we have your name. But basically, we're going to assign each person a day to a day. And so we'll have, let's say Krista is on Sunday, Ricky is on Monday, or like if, obviously we're a family. So our family is praying on Monday, and then person B is praying on Tuesday. And so 7 days of the week, we'll be able to pray for the needs of our people, to pray for our city, to pray for our leadership in our country as they navigate us through this. And so it's going to be an awesome way for us to really lift up our prayers and to be able to have every single day these things being brought before God so that he can answer, so that he can respond. And we've never done this before.
No.
So it's completely brand new, but it's super exciting. So again, just email prayer@metachurch.cc, and we'll get the ball rolling on this, hopefully as soon as this weekend, Sunday, Monday. And then that way we can get that started, and we'll share those requests and then begin praying throughout the week for that.
I'm so excited about this. This is like my favorite thing that we're doing, because I think at Meta, prayer has been such a phenomenal thing that we have done. And it is something that has just been so incredible. And so this is like a new way for us to kind of take it up a notch. We are going to pray for every prayer request that comes every single day of the week.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's going to be massive. And I think what's cool is, again, a few weeks from now or a few months from now, we'll get to celebrate, and maybe even on these Sunday praise reports, we'll be celebrating the things that we were praying about throughout the course of the week. Yeah. So you think about how significant, that is, and how awesome that's going to be. We're stoked about that.
I love it. I'm excited.
So a couple other things that we wanted to share with you. This one actually came at the suggestion of a couple of people within Meta Church, and it's really cool. But we have designated a fund. If you go to meta.church/give, our website, meta.church/give, we have created or designated a fund for COVID-19 relief. And what that fund is set up for is basically to be able to raise support and raise money to help people who have been directly impacted by the whole COVID-19, the coronavirus situation. It might be that some people maybe have gotten ill, but I know already at our church there are people who are either losing jobs or losing income because they can't go to work. And so we want to help create a fund where we can, take all those proceeds, everything that comes there is given to that account, and actually use it to bless people and to help people pay bills, get through what might be a difficult time. And it's such a critical step. And like Brooke just said, so necessary, 100% necessary, to be able to support. This is where the church can be the church, can make a difference and can actually do something tangible. If someone is sick or ill, Obviously, as a church, we don't have the resources to care for them. That's what medical professionals are for. But if we have the capital and the financial resources to be able to support someone through a transition or through a need, that's going to mean the world. Mm-hmm. And so whether you want to give $1, whether you want to give $100, there's some people who are watching this. There's some people that we're connected to. Listen, we know God has blessed you with an incredible amount of resources. You can give literally thousands of dollars to help someone else. And so we want to challenge you. We want to exhort you. We want to encourage you to not hold back. Mm-hmm. One of the things we've said about Meta Church from the beginning is we're a church that holds nothing back because God has held nothing back from us. Mm-hmm. And so Chris and I are already thinking about people in our lives that we can support. We have friends that we care deeply about that have lost their jobs because of this. I just saw a report today that there's over 1,000 New York City workers connected to this one industry that were just laid off yesterday via email. And so if you want to help us, just go to meta.church/give and donate. Again, whatever amount, whether you can give a little or God has blessed you where you can give a lot. All of that money that is given to that COVID-19 relief fund is going to go to support people in need during this time. Because listen, at the end of the day, we're all we got. Mm-hmm. And we're in this together. And our connectedness is never been more apparent. If you didn't believe that we're all connected, literally just go look at how this virus has spread across the world. That's true. And you could say it negatively. It shows how connected we are. But I think on the positive, it shows how connected we are. Mm-hmm. And so we can support each other through this financially by making contributions in this way. And so we're excited about that. Again, we're going to communicate kind of what the process for those in need needs to be. We're going to try to make it as simple as possible so that we can, again, receive those funds and release those funds. We're not trying to hold on to money here. We want to help people who actually need it. And so that's part of our heart in doing that. So anything you want to say to that?
No, I'm excited about this too. Maybe I like this one the most.
And what I love about this is that this actually came at the recommendation or suggestion of two different people within our church.
Which is amazing.
And so this wasn't like a pastor, type of thing. This was people at Meta who said, hey, I see a need and could we help financially? Can we step up some way or create, a fund that can, go to support these people?
And this is who we are. Right. You said we hold nothing back. We live to love. This is an incredible opportunity to do these things.
For sure.
And so we're going to meet this opportunity. So I'm excited about this.
We love it. And then just the last bit of it, I think as we wrap up here, Chris and I are, throughout the course of the upcoming months, we're just going to post, content that speaks hope and encouragement and, shed some light on, what's happening. And I think, just being a beacon of positivity. I don't know if you've checked your screen time over the last 4 days on your phone, but mine is like shot up through the roof. It's like we're on our phones more than ever because we're just sitting around and like there's not really much to do. And so like social media, we're locked in and doing that. And so we just realized like it's an opportunity for us to, share videos, to share posts, to be able to speak, encouragement, during this time. And so I would encourage you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, because we want to be able to share hope. And we know that in these days, there's not enough of it. It seems like more and more people are doing this, which is awesome. And so we're not trying to add to the noise. We're just trying to add hope, to the conversation. And so we'll do some videos. We might do some fun ones like Q&A. I'm on TikTok now, doing stupid videos. But we'll Facebook and Instagram, we'll share the good ones. And so we may do some Q&A, type of stuff to just kind of lighten the mood. But just know that our heart through all of this is we want to encourage you. We want to support you. We want to bring up, we want to share positivity. And at the end of the day, we want to share hope in who Jesus is and what he does and how he speaks to us and how he encourages us, even when things don't feel normal.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much everything.
That's it.
So just to recap, Sunday, 11 a.m., we're going to be back here streaming live this weekend, a message on navigating and dealing with change. And then we have kids stuff coming up, so be on the lookout for that. We have groups starting next week that are going to be going online, and so we'll be communicating more information about that. We have prayer that's going to start a daily prayer cycle. So all you have to do is email prayer@metachurch.cc, and we'll get you added onto our list so that you can be praying, along with us. We have giving, the COVID-19 relief fund, which if you give there will allow us to help support people in need. People are part of our community who are, navigating and trying to transition from a loss of income or whatever. And then lastly, just stay connected with us on social media so we can share hope and encouragement. And if there's anything that we can do on a personal basis, just reach out.
Yeah.
Seriously, don't hesitate to connect with us. Don't hesitate to message us. We're here. We want to support you. We love you guys, and we're thankful and we're excited about what God's going to be doing at Meta Church. I think one last thing. Normally, Meta Church happens in New York City, and we have people that listen to the podcast from all over the world. But what's exciting is now Meta Church is like in Florida. Meta Church is in California. Meta Church is in Georgia. Meta Church is in the Carolinas. Meta Church has literally spread because people have left New York City to go back to these places. And so we're excited to see how God takes Meta Church literally across the country in these next few weeks and months. So we're excited. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you back here on Sunday.
Miss you guys.
Talk to you later. Bye.